files with the students because.
No, not immediately required. You can do in the meantime. So today also we go with the discussions mostly.
Okay, so I will do it in the evening then.
So are they seeing in their monitor my lectures? They have their own computer, I guess.
Uh, no, their computer, actually we have not connected to the internet. So they have a projector where they can see your lectures.
Okay, fine. Whichever works for you is good. Okay, so good afternoon, all of you again. Let us continue with what we were discussing yesterday. Let me share my monitor. So yesterday's our point of discussion was to treat the tropical dynamics, and for that we have considered the shallow water equations. Basically, in this particular plane, a plane where you have a beta plane approximation, where the planetary rotation is assumed as a linearly varying function with respect to latitude. Special types of motion were promised in this, and we started looking at the fluid as a shallow water fluid as seen in this monitor. And so we simplified it for our consideration. Then we have three key terms as shown here, the three key equations, equation 3, 4, and 5. Then we, as a special case, we considered yesterday the Kelvin wave where there is no V component and as a jet at the equator. So yesterday I mentioned that this we developed it from the observations, but actually Amol emailed me later that in fact the theory has come first in 1953 or so by Yoshida. It's called Yoshida jet. So whichever, but the key jet after that we discussed in to have give some view on how a Kelvin wave can generate by a wind perturbation. So that I just have to correct. Then we looked at how the special solutions as a Kelvin wave evolves by treating two special consideration. One is that there is no V component associated with it. So our equation reduces to what we see in this monitor. And the solution to that are of special interest. And we have seen it evolves as a Kelvin waves with a sea surface height decay with respect to the latitude away from the equator, and it has corresponding U relation and zero V velocity. The most importantly, we have discussed what is the phase velocity of it, and we found the phase velocity is a constant, which we arrive through our dispersion relation. So what is the dispersion relation? If you have a fundamental wave equation and assume most general solution to those waves and supply this back to the equation, the reminiscent will give you the relation among the wave number and frequency. Okay, so the relation with wave numbers and frequency with the speed of the wave is called dispersion relation. Basically, it tells whether a set of waves start at certain time, at a particular time, when they travel along, are they going to disperse each other or are they going to stick together? That's called mean by dispersion relation. But and later we come to know that Kelvin wave will not disperse, so its speed is independent of their wave number and frequency. A particular wave number frequency combination will bear a constant speed. And yesterday I mentioned there is no group speed. Group speed is zero, but actually it's not zero. The group speed is equal to the waves, the phase velocity, because a group of waves starting at the same time, they travel together. Okay, and then they don't disperse. That means the group as such has a speed, but is equal to the phase speed itself. So that's what it's not purely. It's not zero. Okay, it's written no group velocity. Doesn't mean it's zero group velocity. The group velocity equal to the phase velocity. Yesterday Amol asked me to correct it in the description. Yeah. So I am mentioning it in the beginning. So, so we have seen the dispersion relation of the Kelvin wave, which is speed is equal to W is equal to K into C, where W by K is the speed of the wave, and which is equal to C. C equal to square root of GH. I think it's keep coming and again in our discussion, square root of GH. We'll see the real concept of the square root of GH and how this is different from the speed of the wave that we are going to see today. Further, we have introduced a concept called the Rossby radius of deformation. Again, the speed is coming. C is equal to square root of GH, and sometimes it's 200 meters per second in my discussion. Sometimes it is taken as 2 meters per second. And what are this difference between the speed according to barotropic condition and baroclinic condition. We are going to come to that in a while. Then we have flashed a few assignments. I hope you will be able to do it, the assignments. Again, coming back to the equation, then we thought of, okay, Kelvin wave is fine. It is of a special type of wave with no V component. But we are not very satisfied with that. Then we have to move ahead with what are other solutions available in the tropical dynamics. Okay, so that's what we wanted to discuss. So now for the tropical dynamics, we have the equation. Okay, so we have the equation, which is the most fundamental equation, which I hope you have solved, derived this equation from equation 3, 4, and 5, which was flashed a while ago. So assuming the solution of the form V equal to V naught exponential I kx minus omega t, having both real and imaginary part of the wave solution. So if you operate the time derivative, first derivative, second derivative, and second derivative in space, etc., and put back into this equation, through which my mouse is moving, you will get an equation in V. So why in V? Because we have a boundary condition available. As you move away from the equator, the V component tend to vanish. Okay, so to avail that boundary condition, so we found d square V by dy square is equal to some few other terms into V times equal to 0. And the solution that vanishes at y reaches infinity are of the form Vn equal to dn times some terms here, and which is further is equal to 2 to the power minus n by 2 hn times this. So there are two unknown things coming here, dn and hn. So where dn is the parabolic cylindrical function. So these are special mathematical differential functions which you can study from any fundamental mathematical book. So where dn is the parabolic cylindrical function of order n, where hn is the corresponding Hermite polynomial of order n. Okay. So this parabolic cylindrical function and Hermite polynomial, I recommend you to read from some applied mathematics book. So we will discuss what is this order n means. Mathematically, they are from -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So the second part of the equation, you see the second part, for V to be 0 at the boundary condition, the dispersion relation says that W by C the whole square minus K square minus beta by K omega is equal to 2n plus 1 beta by C. Here, all these terms are familiar, especially omega is the frequency of the wave or inverse of the periodicity. Simple. And C, again a C coming here, which is to understanding, assume it as square root of GH, which is the phase speed of the system, okay, not the speed of the wave as such. And K is the wave number in zonal direction. What is K wave number? So wave number K is equal to inverse of the wavelength, okay, or the number of waves per unit distance or per unit or per 1 meter, you can say. So numerically, K will be equal to 10 to the power minus 5 because that many number of waves only contains in 1 meter, because these are enormously large wavelength in the ocean. Beta, you know, beta is the parameter, beta parameter, which is constant at the equator. And there is another one, 2n plus 1. So n are certain integers, whether it is 0, minus 1, 1, 2, 3, etc. They're coming from this Hermite polynomial Hn. Okay, it's its order. So this is a typical dispersion relation of all the waves available in the tropical dynamics or the equatorial dynamics. Now we have to partition this dispersion relation and study under each partition how the wave is going to behave. So that's our duty today. Here, where n is, we transform it as certain meridional modes. So there are two words coming here, meridional, which you all know with respect to the meridian, north-south direction, right? And modes. Modes is something that a unique system of solution existing in a certain unique solution existing in a certain system. Assume it that is the meaning of mode. We are going to explain that also in detail after some time. Okay. So here n is the meridional modes, where n can be 0, 1, 2. As a special case, n can also be -1, which we are coming to that. So another interesting aspect to mention here is that the earlier Kelvin wave should be a member of this solution as well. because this is the most general form of the solution we assumed in the most fundamental equation of the shallow water. So Kelvin wave should come as some special case here. Although we have derived it a priori by assuming meridional velocity is 0, because that's the property of Kelvin waves. There is no meridional currents. And why there is no meridional currents for the Kelvin wave or the equatorial Kelvin wave is because Kelvin wave requires a boundary to travel. It goes along the boundary, the rubbing the boundary, right? Assuming equator as the boundary, if the Kelvin waves moves along it, the currents it can build as per the pressure gradient is only along the equator. That's why the V velocity is 0. Okay. I hope we can reiterate the schematic if you don't understand my discussion just now, what I made. This is the vertical section of the equatorial Kelvin wave, right? The maximum height or the minima of the height according to the positive or the negative of the wave is at the equator. And the equator is offering a guide, which is therefore the wave is coming out of the paper. That's why the circle and dot looks like two eyeballs, which actually meaning that the wave is coming out of the paper. Wave is coming towards you, right? This is a YZ cross section. Y in the Y direction, in the east, I mean in the left to right is the Y direction, and the top to bottom is the Z direction. So this is the vertical section of the wave is what shown. It is coming out of the paper. And the first part, the right hand side part is the northern hemispheric part, and the left hand side part is the southern hemispheric part. So both altogether they make a like a Gaussian bump, for example, which is coming out of it. This is a vertical section. If you look at the horizontal, this is what looks like in the XY plane. Here you can easily assume that the high sea surface at the equator and sea surface declining as you go down as you go north or south. So what will be the pressure gradient? Basically, pressure gradient is at the direction of the sea surface height declining, right? And by simple geostrophy, you may assume the current built around should be parallel to the pressure gradient, right? Or perpendicular to the pressure gradient. I mean, pressure gradient is to the north, then the current by geostrophy should go perpendicular to it. So even in that principle, you can assume that the currents can be only in this panel as shown in the XY. So currents are parallel. So that's the U velocity, and there is no V velocity exist, right? So that's the reason we put V equal to 0, and we further derived the Kelvin wave. Now coming back to the most generic form of the equation, which is here. Here it should also contain Kelvin because it is the most general form of the wave solution possible to this entire equation, which brought us to this dispersion relation, what is shown here. Dispersion relation is nothing but the relation between the wave number and frequency, and which has a dependency here on C. C is the speed, again coming square root of GH. I'm going to explain the concept a little later. And another thing is coming is some mode number. We can call it as meridional modes. They are discrete values, okay? They are not floating values like 0.1, 0.2. They are either -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. These are the special property of the Hermite polynomial, how the oscillatory system behaves, which you can read from any mathematical book. Now, we are going to split the situation into few combinations, where first we are going to consider, suppose n is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, what are the values of n? 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. There are different modes. So now if I am saying n is greater than or equal to 1, okay, then the dispersion relation subdivides into two classes. Case A. Case A says that in addition to n is greater than or equal to 1, assume this term w square by c square is small. Where is this w square by c square coming? The first term. Suppose let this term be very small. This can be small for who actually? If w is so small, this term can be very small, right? And w is so small means what? Are they low frequency or high frequency? Very, very low frequency wave, because w is the frequency of the wave, right? So very low frequency of the wave, this term can be neglected. What is remaining? K square, beta k by omega, and 2n plus 1 beta by c. Then what happens? Omega, the frequency of the wave, you can simplify this. If you cancel the first term, you can rearrange the term, and you will arrive omega equal to minus beta k by k square plus 2n plus 1 beta by c. This is the dispersion relation for the assumption where the wave is very, very low frequency wave, okay, which arrives here, the omega equal to this term. What are the properties of this wave? Well, omega is the frequency, k is the wave number. For simplification, I can put omega by k together. What is omega by k in any wave? Wave number by frequency, sorry, frequency by wave number is the propagation speed of the wave, or we can call it CW, or C of the wave. Propagation speed of the wave is equal to minus beta by k square plus 2n plus 1 beta by c. So what does that mean? Propagation speed is negative. What does that mean in the Cartesian system? This wave always propagate to the westward direction. Okay, that's a excuse me, one property of the wave. This wave always propagate to the westward direction. And the other interpretation is that the speed of the wave is equal to minus beta, minus represent they are propagating to the west, by k square, which is the wave number in zonal direction, plus 2n plus 1 beta by c, where n equal to c 1, 2, 3, etc. So I am going to depend on some whiteboard here to illustrate this further. Let me pull up the whiteboard. Okay. Oops, I think I unshared my screen. Sorry for that. Screen again. I hope you are seeing the whiteboard here. Yeah. So what we have arrived is that for W by C, the assumption is that the W by C is very, very less. Okay. We arrived at a condition that the dispersion or the frequency of the wave is equal to minus beta k by k square plus 2n plus 1 beta by c. So this is the dispersion relation we arrived for the very low frequency wave in the equatorial region. So I hope you are seeing my board. If you are not seeing, please let me know. So what is this mean? So what this mean is that I can simplify this omega by k. What is omega by k in any wave is equal to speed of the wave. Let me type CR. The speed of the wave is equal to, it is negative. That means it's always traveling to the westward direction. This wave travels always in the westward direction. Beta divided by k power 2 plus 2 times n plus 1 beta by c. This is the dispersion, sorry, this is the dispersion relation or the speed of the wave we arrived for a condition frequency is very, very less, or very small frequency wave we arrived at here. Now, what are the values of n? So n equal to, what are the values of n? Here, n equal to 1 or 2 or 3, etc. These are the mode numbers coming from the associated Hermite polynomial Hn. These are certain oscillatory structure, okay, of the system. Now, let us put n equal to 1 and see what happens. For n equal to 1, what will happen? This relation will turns to what? CR, the speed of the wave, is equal to minus beta divided by, this k square can be neglected because why? K is also very, very small in this condition. Okay, we are talking about very large wave. K is of the order of 10 to the, k is approximately to the order of 10 to the power minus 5. So k square will become, sorry, k square will become 10 to the power minus 10, so which we can neglect. So if I am neglecting k square, for n equal to 1, I am going to get 2n plus 1 is 3 beta divided by c, or the speed of the wave is equal to minus c by 3. So what is this c? Don't confuse, it is square root of gh of the system. Okay, square root of gh is the speed of the system, where g is the acceleration due to gravity, h is the thickness of the fluid. So this clearly tells us that for n equal to 1 mode, this wave is definitely going to the westward direction with a speed 1/3 of the speed of the system. Well, the speed of the system is can be called as the gravest mode. I mean, this is the maximum speed a wave can achieve in the system, which is nothing to do with the wave, rather it to do with the gravity g, which is 10 meter per second square, or 9.8 you would say, 10 meter per second square, and h is the thickness of the fluid. Thickness of the fluid, okay? Thickness. H is the thickness of the fluid. So for yesterday we were discussing for the ocean of thickness h is equal to 4 kilometer or 4,000 meter. What will be your square root of gh will become approximately 200 meter per second. So such a very fast moving speed, we call it barotropic speed of the system, where h is the total height of the fluid. So in this case, the Rossby wave of barotropic Rossby wave will travel at a speed of minus c by 3, which is nearly equal to what? So around 60 meter per second to the westward direction. But such types of waves are very fast moving, has less consequence with our studies, or whether our weather pattern or any other phenomenon, because they are fast moving waves. But what if this speed, what I am discussing here, is slow down for any system? Say, for example, baroclinic system, usually this square root of gh turns out to be approximately 3 meter per second for the ocean. And how this become, I tell you, I am going to explain this in a later. In this case, in the baroclinic case, this particular wave travels at a speed of minus c by 3, which is roughly equal to 1 meter per second. Such waves travel at a very small speed, has consequences in our weather and climate. That's going to, and we are going to see that also in our simulations. So this wave is called, I'm going back to the desktop, is called the Rossby waves. Okay. This wave with omega by c is very small, means very low frequency, very large wavelength, traveling westward, is called the Rossby wave. So here I read out the bullet points, or equatorial Rossby waves. Okay. So here omega by c square is small, therefore the W is very small for c, where c is approximately 2 meter per second or 3 meter per second, which is the baroclinic speed of the system. Now W is the frequency, or in other words, these are the larger periodicity wave. So now they have W here, the dispersion relation says that W is equal to minus beta k by this, and for n equal to 1, 2, 3, etc., they all propagate westward. They are called Rossby waves. Okay. Now for n equal to 1, we have found out that the speed of the wave is approximately 1/3 of the speed of the system, where this speed is the square root of gh, okay, which is 200 meter per second for a barotropic condition, or 60 meter, or around 3 meter per second for a baroclinic condition. That is the westward phase speed of the first meridional. So what is n? N represents the meridional modes. Okay. So this is a bit to understand here. We are going to spend some time here to understand what are these meridional modes. It's coming from the Hermite polynomial of order n. Okay. So what are these meridional mode, etc.? We are going to spend some time after this. So for a first meridional mode, is the westward phase speed of the first meridional mode Rossby wave is 1/3 of the baroclinic or barotropic speed of the system. So this is the, and if you can now build with the n equal to higher mode, say for example. So let's come back to the board again. What are the n equal to higher modes? So the same equation you can utilize. N equal to higher, that means n equal to 2. What will happen? Omega by k equal to minus beta k square. I am neglecting. It will be 2n plus 1. That means 5 beta by c, or this will become equal to minus c by 5. They will propagate at 1/5 of the speed, but to the west direction. So these are called higher number of Rossby, higher number of modes. Okay. So n equal to 2, 3, 4, you can go like that. So they are various meridional mode Rossby waves propagating always to the westward direction. minus c by 5 is n equal to 2. So n equal to 3 equal to c by what, 7. Like that it will go. Okay. So now if I draw the wave number frequency diagram of such waves, so I can draw always the axis. Okay. So this is my frequency axis W, and this is my wave number axis. This is plus k and minus k, because dispersion relation is nothing but a relation between W and k. So these waves in the equatorial Rossby wave are going to have a dispersion curve something like this. So this is n equal to 1, and other mode n equal to 2, and n equal to 3, like that. So this is n equal to 1, n equal to 2. So what are these saying? Are they linear waves? No, they're having a relation. I mean, their speed changes. They are dispersive waves. If it's a non-dispersive wave, they're going to be a straight line in this diagram, but they are curved lines, so they are dispersive waves. So their speed depends upon the wave number and frequency. So these are the dispersion diagram of this particular equatorial Rossby wave. So I am going to call this equatorial Rossby waves. Well, what do you understand by this diagram? This diagram is a wave number frequency diagram. So WK diagram. This is not a normal diagram. Here the axis represent the frequency in the y-axis and wave number in the x-axis. They are not purely xy in space and in space. Okay, one is frequency, one is wave number. And to the right, I can say positive wave number. To the left, I can say negative wave. Why I draw the diagram only in the negative side? Because these waves always travel to westward. So they have a westward wave number. That is why I used the negative side of the K quadrant to draw the dispersion curve. Okay. So this is the typical equatorial Rossby wave dispersion curve. It's very common. You often observe, especially this n equal to 1 mode, get excited very often in the ocean. Okay. So why they get excited, etc., we are going to study more and more detail later. Okay. So again, coming back to the discussion. So n equal to 1 will give a special type of wave called the equatorial Rossby wave. You can also build n equal to 2, 3, 4, etc. And their dispersion diagram I already have discussed. Now, what happens if n equal to minus 1? Because the Hermite polynomial allows us as a special case, if I take n equal to minus 1, let us examine the dispersion relation. What will happen to that? So omega by k equal to minus, again at the limit of this. Okay, what is the limit? W by c is extremely small, or w square by c square is small. In that limit, if you put n equal to minus 1, what is going to happen? W by k equal to minus beta by k square plus n equal to minus 1. That means 2n plus 1 become minus 1 minus beta by c. If you simplify, you are going to get omega by k equal to plus c. What is this? This is the equatorial Kelvin wave. So equatorial Kelvin wave comes as a special case of n equal to minus 1 in this solution. So omega by k equal to plus c. You have seen this, and this is plus. That means they propagate eastward. That means for meridional mode n equal to minus 1, the phase speed of the wave is equal to the baroclinic or barotropic speed of the system. Therefore, it is a Kelvin wave. And Kelvin wave dispersion relation, if you remember, yesterday we draw very simply as a straight line. So I'm going to fill up it here. So this is n equal to minus 1. Agreed? So this is the Kelvin wave. So this I can call it as a Kelvin wave because this is a special type of solution I obtained by putting n equal to minus 1 in the dispersion relation. What? Omega by k equal to minus beta by k square plus 2n plus 1 beta by c. In this special case, if I put n equal to minus 1, I am going to get a wave of the type omega by k equal to plus c. That means they travel to the positive direction. That's what I put the line in the positive quadrant of plus k. So this is the Kelvin wave. Let us move on with what are other types of wave we have in our store. We told the case in which Let me scroll back a little bit. Please bear with me. For n equal to positive values, we told there are two cases, case A and case B. So we case A examined, that is the Rossby wave. We saw the dispersion relation very beautifully in this left quadrant of K. We have seen that. We are all comfortable with it because we know n equal to 1. They offer some typical type of Rossby wave. N equal to 2 is next meridional mode. N equal to 3 is a higher meridional mode. Their dispersion curve look like this in the negative quadrant of the wave number frequency diagram. And as a special case, we have also learned for n equal to -1, we are going to get a Kelvin wave. Now we are going to case B. What are the case B category? Now for n equal to very large, for n equal to 1 or higher, let the term beta k by W is small. Where is that coming from? Let's go back to our total dispersion relation here. Beta k by W, let us assume this is small. This is small when for high frequency wave. So W increases, then this term gets decreased. So at very high frequency waves, we can neglect this term rather than the first term. Let us see what are the solutions in the store for case B. For case B, if you put that, you will get the reminiscent is the omega square is equal to 2n plus 1 beta c plus k square c square. If you study the internal waves and the small frequency, high frequency waves, if you remember from your maybe in semester 1 or 2, such types of waves you may see as a very high frequency wave. This dispersion relation coming very close to omega square is equal to kh tan h plus k square h square or something, some relation there you might have studied in your wave dynamics. Okay, so this is coming quite to that. These are very high frequency planetary waves. So these are called equatorially trapped gravity waves or Poincare waves, where frequency is equal to 2n plus 1 beta c plus k square c square. I think this relation is coming even in a stratified fluid internal wave Poincare waves. If you know the wave theory reasonably well, you may be recalling this form of equation. In the equatorial discussion also, this is coming. An additional advantage is that we have a 2n plus 1. That means whether n equal to 1, this become 3. N equal to 2, 2n plus become 5. So what is actually this n 1, 2, 3 gives you? They give certain discreteness in the wave. So the wave cannot be so continuous in their form in the equatorial theory. Rather, it has to be discrete, either n equal to 1 or n equal to 2 or n equal to 3. According to this discreteness, the structure of the wave is going to change. So this is very interesting thing in the tropical dynamics. From the mid latitude, as you come towards the equator, your continuity of the waves destroys. Rather, it occupies certain discrete structure. And why that discreteness has to come? Because of the very reason which I was illustrating in the very beginning of the lecture. The discreteness comes from this particular aspect. As the system crosses from mid-latitude to tropics to the equator, the planetary vorticity switches its sign dramatically at the equator. And that gives the system some kind of a restoration to its original position. So this restoration, as my mouse pointer is moving up and down, comes to some kind of an oscillatory nature in the meridional direction. So whenever there is an oscillatory nature, there can be a certain modes of motions. Say for example, let us take a big bathtub, okay, filled with water. You perturb the water. The water is going to, the surface of the water is going to oscillate. And there can be oscillation in a manner. There can be certain nodal points. What are nodal points? Points where there is no motion or there is a maximum amplitude of the motion. And those points can be derived as certain oscillatory nature of a spring mass system. Okay, so there is going to be only a definite number of oscillations allowed in a particular time. So that actually is the reason why the waves in the tropical or the in the equatorial area are so discrete in nature. They can be n equal to 1 type of wave, n equal to 2 type of wave, n equal to 3. There is no like n equal to 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 like that. So certain discreteness of the system arrives. So this is so important in the only happening in the equatorial region. And why is it happening? Because the dramatic switching of the planetary vorticity as you cross the equator gives some kind of a system, restoration of the system with respect to the equator. So the waves has to, they form some type of mode structure. Okay, so that's why we have the discrete. And I'm going to give you more clear picture as I'm going further ahead. Anyway, let us go back to the case B without losing much focus in there. So case B offers a high frequency equatorially trapped gravity waves or a Poincare waves of equation omega square equal to 2n plus 1 beta c k plus k square c square, where n equal to 1 will give one structure of trapped gravity waves. If n equal to 2, another structures of trapped gravity waves, and so on. And where is the dispersion curve belongs to this type of trapped waves. In the wave number frequency diagram, such waves have a dispersion curve somewhere on the top like this. So this may be n equal to 1, and can be another curve can be built n equal to 2. I'm sorry, not m, n equal to 2, etc. So these are the areas where you will find the dispersion curve for the gravity. They are both positive waves and negative waves. They can propagate to the east or to the west. They're high frequency. That's what I draw the diagram little bit up in the axis. Okay, because they are high frequency. They are separated from the low frequency waves. So I draw the diagram dispersion curve a little bit to the top. So this is a gravity trapped gravity wave. So very high frequency. They moves around in the equatorial region, and they can travel to the positive direction of the eastward or westward. They both are allowed because the dispersion relation allows that combination of omega and k, which can have positive and negative speeds. Okay. Now let us consider a case n equal to 0, which we haven't considered. N equal to 1 we considered, or n equal to 1 or greater we considered, n equal to 0 we considered for the n equal to -1 we considered for the Kelvin wave. Now let's consider n equal to 0. This gives another special type of motion in this particular dispersion curve, which is coming from this dispersion relation. If you put n equal to 0, you can simplify them. Finally, you arrive a system like as I shown here. For a very small high frequency wave, that means beta k by w is equal to small. You arrive at dispersion relation something like this. And the solution in this case reduces to u equal to exponential minus beta y square by 2c cos kx minus omega. I think you know this kind of solution already. Okay, so such waves are called. I think better I go with the little bit ahead and explain. So such waves in the dispersion relation, if you say the n equal to 0 type of oscillation, they have a kind of a property of a gravity wave in the high frequency. They have a property of a Rossby wave in the low frequency side. So that they becomes a kind of a group of mixed Rossby gravity waves. So we call it MRG waves, mixed Rossby gravity waves. What are they? They are for n equal to 0. In the Hermite polynomial mode numbers n equal to 0 for a very high frequency condition, they behaves as a gravity wave, but very low frequency condition, they behaves as a Rossby wave. So they are called mixed Rossby gravity waves. So these are all the possible wave forms available in the tropical or equatorial dynamics. You may ask, what about the other areas of the map? No waves possible in the other areas of the map. And that discreteness comes with what? Due to your n, the mode number. And this discreteness of the system is so special in the equatorial dynamics. Some family of waves are only possible. They are not a continuous number of all type of waves are not possible. There are only a definite number of waves are possible, or definite characteristics of waves are only possible. They are, I can write it down clearly here. What are the way we come across with the tropical discussion? The wave, one such wave is a Kelvin wave. So let us remember about Kelvin wave. Kelvin wave always travel to east direction. Okay, always travel to the eastward direction. And wave. The structure of this wave I'm going to illustrate in the numerical experiments today. And the second types of waves is Rossby waves, equatorial Rossby waves. What are the properties of this wave? They always travel west direction, and they have structure n equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. according to the meridional mode number. And another type of wave we found out today is the gravity wave, equatorial gravity waves or Poincare waves. Gravity waves, this can be eastward propagating or westward propagating, doesn't matter. They are high frequency waves, so the omega is relatively larger in this case. Omega is the frequency of the wave. Then the fourth type of wave we see today is a special type of wave we call mixed Rossby gravity waves. This is propagating to the east when omega is larger, and propagate to the west as a Rossby wave when omega is smaller. That's why we call it a mix of Rossby and gravity wave. We also call this as Yanai waves, named after the person who theoretically proposed Yanai. We call it as Yanai waves also. Now, our next duty is to see, these are fine. I mean, we have seen the dispersion diagram here, which looks okay. Although it looks weird to understand because this is not in the geometrical plane, rather it is in the plane of a wave number and frequency. It's kind of difficult for us to understand how the wave looks like, because yesterday it was so easy. I show you the Ritke jet, you all understood suddenly how the Kelvin wave looks like. Okay, it looks like this. The currents are going parallel to the equator. Wavelength is very large, and the currents all aligned along the equator, and currents decay away from the equator. Everything was very clear to interpret. But if I show these things in this wave number frequency space, you may be able to have a difficulty to understand well how actually or physically these waves going to look like. So that's what today's discussion. We want to get familiarized with all these waves, how they're going to look like. Okay. So the one way to identify is that you can go back and plot the theoretical, and the analytical solution of the wave in the paper from the theory, and then you can find out how they are look like. So it is easy to go through some paper, say for example, the paper by Toru Matsuno's paper. So this is a very classical paper, Matsuno's paper, I think published in 69 or somewhere after that. This Toru Matsuno's paper is the first one proposing the solution to in the equatorial dynamics of the atmosphere. They are purely basic theoretical paper, starting with the equation of what do you call that, the shallow water wave equation. So because if you come to the shallow water wave equation, you can easily figure out this become a system of linear waves. These equations can be also solved by system of linear equations. Where are those equations? Somewhere up here. These equations can be solved by system of linear equations by matrix inversion. So which will give you certain eigenmodes, right? And eigenmode solutions is in fact what we are discussing today. And that's why whenever there is an eigenmode, eigen solution, there are certain modes going to appear. Now let us assume, let us go back and learn what are these eigenmodes we are discussing today actually about. So the why the discreteness of the system come. Let us take for example the dispersion relation of beta is equal to, or beta by k equal to, I'm sorry. Omega is equal to minus beta k by k square plus 2n plus 1 into beta by c for all values of n equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. So why this discreteness of the system coming? And before going to that, let us pay some attention about all these terms. So actually this 2n plus 1 beta by c, you can assume it as the meridional wave number. That may be an easy interpretation. If k is the zonal wave number, you are equally eligible to take a meridional wave number. What is that meridional wave number? The number of waves in the meridional direction for a given wave. So instead of we are saying it's just the meridional wave number, we are discretizing it into certain number of definite modes, whether n equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay, so this is another way of interpreting what is this mode means. Or if you have even more difficulty, I'm going to simplify this in a coming back to the system, something like this. This is the half of our hemisphere, and this is our sorry, my drawing is not very good. So let me put an equatorial beta plane here. This is my beta plane. Okay, I think you all remember this beta plane from yesterday's discussion. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't need to draw a thick one, but let me draw a thick one. So this is the equatorial beta plane, and this is the equator. Very good. So we explained yesterday that the direction of the planetary vorticity is in this. This is the vector, and the rotational direction is anti-clockwise in the northern hemisphere. This is positive f, and a similar one you can construct in the southern hemisphere also, right? If you construct in this one, this will be your negative f. Now, because of this change in direction of the vorticity with respect to equator, assume the dynamics has some kind of a restoration in the north-south direction. Okay, and that restoration, if you have a difficulty to understand, let me translate into certain linear system of equation by this analogy. I always use this analogy to teach students. So suppose there is a mass of m, small m, attached to a spring with another big mass, capital M, and attached with another spring, which is again, let me take it as a small m. Let the spring constant be K1 and K2. I think this system is familiar to most of you. What will happen if I excite this system with some force? All these masses and springs are going to be in a various oscillatory nature. So there are 3 masses and 2 springs in this system. Can somebody assume or tell me what all are the oscillation this is going to do? I mean, if I am perturbing in this direction and this direction. Okay, please neglect gravity here. Okay, that, or you can take the system in horizontal. So gravity is equal in all the mass. Okay, you can take the system in horizontal direction, which may be more easy to interpret. So this is small m, capital M, small m with the spring constants K1 and K2. And I am going to excite this system with some impulse in both the direction or one direction. What are the oscillations possible for here? Let us draw the graph of this oscillation. Okay, so that may be the easy to. This system actually becomes a system of linear equations with the mass. But what are the governing forces here? The frequency d omega, or the what is it? The d omega by dt is equal to k m1, right? So do you know how to solve this? Or if you are not remembering, you can go back to some simple harmonic oscillation books which this might have solved it. Okay, so this forms a system of linear equations in which there you can solve the displacement of each of these mass in time in terms of the geometry of the system, which is the mass of the system and the spring constant k. So if you do so, the solutions you are going to get, let me draw the solutions, and in this particular fashion. So I'm going to solutions as a positive the displacement in the positive x direction. So this is a plus x direction, and this is a minus x direction. And let this be the 0x, no displacement. Now let us draw the 3 possible scenarios possible. So 3 possible scenarios. Here, all the masses can move in the same direction. Agreed. So that solution will look like, for this is, let this be the for the displacement produced by the mass 1. Let this represents the mass 2, and this represents the mass 3. Then all the masses can move in one direction, either positive direction or negative direction. So the graph will look like exactly this, right? Because all the masses moved in the same direction. So this will be the graph. Another possible solution is that one of these mass moved to the left, while the other 2 masses moved to the right. Say, for example, here and here. So my solution will look like this. Are you getting the solution? So this I may call it as my mode number 1, n equal to 1, and this is n equal to 2. That means first one mass has moved to the left, the other two mass has moved to the right. Okay, so that's the solution. Another solution possible for the last solution possible here is one of these mass, two of those mass moved to the left direction, okay, and the other mass moved to the right direction. Then the solution will look something like this. If you draw the straight line, one mass has moved to the right and other two masses has moved to the left. That will be the solution. So this may be, I can call n equal to 3. Why there are 3 types of solutions possible? What are the solutions actually? We are talking about the displacement produced by this individual mass in the 3 mass 2 spring system. So only 3 types of motions are possible. Either all the mass can move to the same direction. So the solution will be the straight graph I show here. So I can put a tick mark here. This is the first one we are talking about. The second system is that one mass moved to the left and other two masses moved to the right. So that is this second solution. The other possibility is that one mass moving opposite to the other two masses. So that's the solution number 3 here. So these are various eigen modes of the system. This is exactly what is happening in the tropical waves also. Here, instead of having 3 mass and 2 spring, the mass is continuous, spring also continuous. What is the spring? Spring is nothing but the restoration of the system back to its normal position. Who is going to give you the restoration in the equatorial dynamics? This F. This is continuous. It is continuously increasing and changing direction at the equator and continuously decreasing as you go down and change direction and increasing. So that's a continuous restoration of planetary vorticity bound to the equator. So there also such eigen modes of solutions are possible, and that's why your n is coming into picture. This is why you are get the discreteness of the system, whether it's equal to n equal to 1 or 2 or 3, etc. I hope you understood by this analogy at least that the discreteness or only certain modes are possible because it is a eigenvalue system arriving in this case, which give you certain discreteness to the solution. And this is called meridional modes. These modes in the mass spring system called, you can call it as a mass spring mode, okay, oscillatory mode. Similarly, in the tropical dynamics, we call these as the meridional modes. They have certain mode of oscillation. It is exactly same as the water in the tub, for example, I was telling you, or water in a channel. If you are perturbing the water in a channel with tidal force, only certain oscillatory nature build up. That is because of how the wave solution is organized in it, right? Certain modes of oscillation, there will be nodal point, maximum amplitude point, and there will be multi-wave oscillation, right? Like oscillation in a nodal point split into 2 or split into 3 in the channel according to the channel width. So these are various oscillations possible. Okay. So that is exactly what happens in the tropical dynamics also. There are certain meridional modes. You can equally interpret as the meridional wave number. So a number of waves in the meridional direction. You can also interpret it like that. But instead of saying meridional wave number, we call it meridional mode. So frequently you may have come across in the satellite data or any data. So for example, these types of waves are very common. Kelvin waves are very common in the tropical region. We already seen yesterday Ritke jet as a tentative example of that. But Amol told me yesterday, don't call Ritke jets as pure Kelvin wave because V is not always 0. There are non-zero V. But let us simplify that. Assuming there is no V, the Ritke jet can be taken as an example to the Kelvin wave. And another one always you come across is the Rossby wave, of which meridional Kelvin wave is anyway meridional mode number n equal to -1. There is nothing much about it. Okay, there is already fixed. Then Rossby waves you always come across equatorial Rossby waves, which is n equal to 1 or 2 or 3, but usually 2 and 3 are very difficult to find. Okay, so you always get n equal to 1. Because that's the most prominent mode or the dominant mode. As the dominance of the mode declines as you go up in the eigenvalues, right? In an eigenvalue problem, the largest eigenvalue will have the dominant eigenvector. Similarly, as you go up in the 1, 2, 3, 4, your dominance of the stress system decreases. So this also you often come across and see Kelvin wave number n equal to -1 and Rossby wave n equal to 1. First meridional mode Rossby wave always going to come into in the satellite data you see, in whether you're discussing the El Nino conditions, El Nino dynamics or Ricci jet dynamics, etc. You come across with the n equal to 1. To find n equal to 2 Rossby wave and higher are rather difficult. Now, again, coming back to the discussion, and another one also you come across with this mixed Rossby gravity waves, this MRG waves, mixed Rossby gravity waves, you always come across with. Here, what is n equal to 0 type of wave? This also you always see in the satellite data. So these are the common candidates you find it in the satellite data or any data in the ocean atmospheric system. Kelvin waves, Rossby waves, mixed Rossby gravity waves, or Yanai waves, for example. These are there. Let us go back to our other spectrum. See previous other spectrum. So we said that Kelvin wave is going to be there, mixed Rossby gravity, Rossby wave is going to be there, mixed Rossby gravity wave is going to be there. How about other waves like a high frequency wave, like pure gravity waves? They're also possible. If you look at the diagram of cloudiness in the ocean, in the atmosphere, in the tropical area, you also see such waves, gravity waves. Gravity waves also you see. What are gravity waves? Gravity waves are, the dispersion relation was different. It was case B waves, if you remember. They also have n equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. But they are for gravity waves, very high frequency wave. These also usually you find in satellite picture of cloudiness. It is good. The theory is explained, but you may still have a difficulty how to understand how are these waves actually look into in the real space. That is what you should, I mean, your intuition will improve if you see them in the real space, how they look like, right? Not in the wave number frequency space. It's a weird space to interpret. Yesterday we have seen, if you remember the Ricci jet example, we have shown how the zonal velocity is going to be there for a typical Kelvin wave. So now I think it is time to describe such waves. Let me go back to the note and see where we reached already. So we have reached somewhere here. So this is the dispersion curve of all the waves that I was teaching now. So this is a wave number frequency diagram. So here the wave frequency axis is scaled up by 2 beta by c to the power 1 by 2. Some normalization is applied so that this figure will look very clear. Okay, some normalization to the axis you need to apply. Now, if you do that, it's a non-dimensional axis, right? So if you do that, you get Kelvin wave as a straight line because they are non-dispersive. Others are curved lines because they are dispersive waves. And the Kelvin wave is n equal to -1, which is the diagram is shown on the right part of the quadrant. And the gravity, Rossby waves are shown on the left-hand side, n equal to 1, n equal to 2, etc. And there are mixed Rossby gravity waves. That means in the low frequency side, they behave as a Rossby, they propagate to the west. And in the high frequency side, they behave as a gravity waves, which propagate to the east. So it's called, this is a typical interesting wave, mixed Rossby gravity wave. And other curves are gravity waves. You can see n equal to 1, 2, 3 as you go up in the high frequency part of the axis. Now there is a big question before we going further. The question is that what about the spaces here? Say for example, in this particular area, the area where, let me redraw this, let clean it up a little bit. Let me redraw this. Okay, so I have a 2 axis here. Fine. Okay, so let me redraw the diagrams. So one is that the Rossby waves traveled in, I'm sorry, not traveling, and the dispersion curves, and Kelvin waves were like this, and Poincare waves were like this. This is a schematic, okay, not a perfect one. And we built a mixed Rossby gravity curve also here. And what about these areas? Do we not have any waves here? Theoretically, if you have those 3 shallow water wave equations, 2 momentum equation and a mass conservation equation, you are not allowed to have any waves here. No, there is not going to be any waves here. But in reality, because in reality it's not the theory. Theory is a much simplified linear version of the shallow water wave equation. But in reality, you find if you examine the cloudiness data or cloud data from the satellite, for example, if you examine, you find some frequency. This is wave number, sorry, wave number frequency diagram, right? So some frequency you always find here if you analyze the spectra of the observed satellite data. So they are named as, one example is tropical disturbances. Some tropical disturbances in the cloudiness, they move westward direction as a cloud patch in the satellite data. So I will show you, I'll give you some paper to read about this in later. You can see in reality such waves are filtered out from the observed satellite data. So they occupy some space in between. They call tropical disturbances. So that is not so this is not a complete story. Why we are not resolving it in our theory? Because we do not have any tropical disturbance term in our equations. So this is actually called the modeling. Okay, modeling means nothing but a mathematical treatment of the governing balances. So if your model has no such treatment of tropical disturbances, your model means what? What is your model? The model we are talking about. Your model in all this discussion is this. This is your model, the mathematical model to the system. Equation 1, equation 3, equation 4, equation 5. This is your model. So your model does not have any. This model is what? Acceleration, beta plane forcing or Coriolis forcing due to beta plane, and the pressure gradient force. And these three forces not governing any tropical disturbance, which is related to the convective motion of the cloudiness. We don't have those terms here, so we don't get those spectrum in our theory. That is true. It's understandable. So if you want to get, you need to put additional terms in here, then you may get tropical disturbance. Another important arena which is empty here is that in the observation, we found some type of eastward propagating signal, okay, which is very slowly moving than the Kelvin wave. They may look like Kelvin, but they are not purely Kelvin wave. But we are not getting any spectrum or any power to the corresponding to that. So that is somewhere occupied in this part of the spectrum. In the wave number frequency diagram, this part, we don't have any wave resolved here. But in reality, you get some waves traveling with a very low speed into the eastward direction. Okay, so eastward direction moving waves you get here, but we don't resolve in this, and this is typically called as Madden-Julian oscillations, MJO. We don't resolve in our theory because our theory cannot contain the complete process of MJO. So that's why we don't resolve any power there. So MJOs are special type of tropical waves, travels eastward, slower than the regular Kelvin wave. Okay, so they are not Kelvin wave, but they Kelvin lookalike wave, but travel eastward and low in a very low speed compared to the pure Kelvin wave. So they are called Madden-Julian oscillation. So we don't resolve it here because the process Madden-Julian oscillation is a convectively coupled wave, we can say. We don't have a convection, we don't have a coupling. Coupling means ocean atmospheric coupling. Then only we will be able to resolve such waves. So there are waves outside this discussion also. That's what I want to try to tell you. One is the tropical disturbance, or we call it TD, tropical disturbances in the cloudiness, and the other is MJO. They too are not part of this diagram, and they're exactly occupying where we have gaps. So in nature is mix of all, okay? Nature is not restricting to three fundamental simplified primitive, what you call that, these Navier-Stokes equation of a linear nature. No, that's not nature. Nature is full, contain everything. Our theory of yesterday's and today's discussion, unfortunately, unable to resolve such tropical disturbances or MJO. It is true because we don't have such complicated term or coupling of the system in our model. That's why our model cannot predict those. Okay, so this is interesting. So far, I hope you understood the wave number frequency diagram of the tropical waves in great detail. I want to reiterate, these are the typical waves we are going to see: Kelvin waves, Rossby waves of wave number 1, mode number 1, gravity waves, where are they? I think I have written the table somewhere neatly. Anyway, so these are the waves you are going to find in your discussion. So it's 3 o'clock. Should we give a break of 5 to 10 minutes now? I think we can take a break of 5 minutes here.
5 minutes here. Yeah, we can break.
Yeah, and then we will come back.
And then we will come back to the demonstration. So
we'll meet again 3:15.
We'll meet again 3:15. You
Sure.
want the program started by then?
What is it?
What is it? Do you want the programs that Fortran codes that you have sent?
I think yeah, I will be doing the programming.
Okay. So I will upload it in the classroom. So there will be two programs, Fortran codes, that I'm going to upload in the classroom. You can download and keep it in your systems.
Actually, one program. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll meet at 3:50.
Okay, 3:15.
Okay, welcome back. So let us continue with the discussion.
Okay, welcome back.
I am getting echo. Can somebody mute whichever? Okay, now it is fine. So we were discussing about the various types of waves and their dispersion curve. So in the break time, what I have done is I have made up certain drawings for you. How these waves physically appear if you examine, say, sea surface height or a pressure pattern in the atmosphere. I hope you are seeing my screen. If you are not, please raise the hand. So the top left panel shows the Kelvin waves, how they look in sea surface height, for example, or sea surface height anomaly. So that's going to be their structure. So I am drawing a positive sea surface height as a red color and a negative sea surface height as the blue color. So there will be a maximum sea surface height contour centered at the equator for the Kelvin wave, and they decay exponentially as you go away from the equator in the north or south direction. So this is going to be the spatial shape of a Kelvin wave that we are getting going to get familiarized with. So you may ask, what is the
Hello,
wavelength?
we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello.
Am I mute? Yeah, why you can't hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, not audible.
It says your mic is turned off due to size of the call.
No, you are not audible.
Sir, it's audible, sir.
It's audible now. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, somebody reported it. I am audible. Rajiv Krishnan reported I am audible. Anupam reported I am audible. Vijit, am I audible? Okay, for Vijit and the classroom we are not audible. For others we are audible.